Let me know that you can hear me. I came on. Again, I would like to thank all those that donate, all those that want to donate. My Cash App is PEKA69, PEKA69. So, before I forget, I wanted to talk about the differences, the variables that you go through when you experience being displaced. One thing that I know for sure is when you are going through a bout of homelessness and you have relatives and friends, you have somewhat of a support system, it's always easier for you to obtain housing and resources because you have people there. But the moment that you do not have people there is when you really experience the ins and outs and the tumultuousness of homelessness. And it is because you have no shoulder to lean on. And what I gather from this is that people that run these programs are aware of it. And so I feel that the reason why 211 is so consumed with individuals and waiting lists, and the reason why they allocated all of these resources to one device is because they want to service those that are truly in need. Now, because of this worldwide okay, it's sort of like another recession, if you will. It is like a natural D. Now, for those that are wondering why I'm not saying certain words, it is because I know that this is going to be heard in different places. And because it's going to be heard in different places, that means I have to watch the words that I speak. Now, I know that is one end so far. So the message for today is pay attention to your relationships, and not just ones that are romantic in nature or someone that you lay down with occasionally. We're talking about relationships with other human beings. Okay, so we want to pay attention to those type of relationships. Now, someone asked about the man under the tree. Now, since I've been off, the man has gotten up and left. He left and he went down the street. Now, with him, his situation, because I could tell, is one where is he is, you know, how do I put this? He is someone that he has devices. He has how do I put this? He's a user, and so you can kind of tell. Well, I can, so I know the general public can tell the difference between someone that experiences homelessness that is not a user and someone that is a user. And then you take into consideration mental illness. Now, I know for a fact with mental illness, some of them prefer to live out in the world. They don't want to be confined to a building, and so it's fine. But when you talk about cleanliness and hygiene and health, you have to take that into consideration because those with mental illness tend to not care about their hygiene. And so this is why this is very important. Now, I know that there is a group of individuals that would rather live out in the world and live free, and not worry about if someone thinks they're clean or if they're homeless and things of that sort. I know that there is a really big encampment in Humboldt County. And so a lot of people will try to migrate there because there's nothing but forest. And it's a place where you can go and you can get lost. And in the midst of these forests, they have generators and all kind of things like that. And so out there, it's pretty much normal. Now, someone else was talking about the the skin of those that live out in the world when they are not users. Their skin tends to be supple. They have a glow, and it is because of the sweat that is continuously on their body. It cleans their system, and it gives their skin a glow. Now, again, while you all are coming in, if you know of any other resources for men with children, single fathers, for single mothers, and things of that sort, can you just put it in the chat so if someone sees it in the future, they'll know. So I do know that there's a group that actively shares. Victoria's Tea is one. She's actively sharing. Okay, so the nature of the live is going to change because people want to know about these donation type readings, and what it is uh, for my members and my viewers specifically. What happens is they realize that they have a generational hex on them. Okay, so this is something that did not start with them. It started with their universe parents. And you all know that there is a difference between your universe parents and your biological parents. We're talking about the creator of your being when we talk about universe parents. So you know that you are a being, that means you have been reincarnated. And because you have been reincarnated, that means you went through several parents, biological or otherwise. Some remained in the same family and some did not. Now, the reason why I know this is because I'm a cherub, and this is information that the God puts in angels' minds to share. Now, the reason why he's not sharing it to you himself is because you have not reached that stage of ascension where you're open enough to be able to recept the messages. Now, it's not just you being book smart and knowing about spiritual practices or lingo. What this is talking about is even your physical attributes, your body. When I spoke before in a previous live, I talked about the body's transformation as well. And one of the misconceptions that people believe about angels, it's some truth to it, but not in the sense that they want to promote it. Now, some of these people that do have connectivity that hide it, they will specifically look for angels of all types. It doesn't matter if they're a demon, a demon, a demian, a cherub, a seraphim, a taquita, a messenger, and so forth. It doesn't matter what type. They'll purposely seek out these type of angels so they can lay down with them for cleansing of the body. And what that talks about is, say for instance, you have something like ankylosing spondylitis, okay? Um, Now, I'm not a medical physician. I have to put that out there. This is my hypothesis on things that I've seen because I've experienced it. They will say that things are like that are not airborne, okay? But they are. Now, you know that certain things like, let's see, herpes, the kind that comes on the face, there's certain types that are airborne. What is another one? The reason why it is important is because science can only give you so much. Now, I'm just gonna focus on ankylosing spondylitis, which is curvature of the spine, not to be mistaken with multiple sclerosis. This is something that the angels call a Hag's disease. They know where it comes from. They know the origin of it, okay? And so when you lay down with someone that has remnants of that asiki on them, you will start to experience aches and pains of your joints, of your spine, and things of that sort. This is something that will happen just all of a sudden. Okay, you could be fine one day and you lay down with someone that has that. You will notice that your back starts hurting, your bones start aching, and things of that sort. And this is what I'm talking about when certain individuals encounter beings that are angels. When they lay down with angels, they give you their ailments. Now, this is something that they may not have initially known when they did it, but as time goes by, they start noticing when they sleep with certain people, things leave. Now, I'm not talking about herpes of the genitals. I'm talking about the kind that you get that's airborne. Now, for them to know that you get a specific kind when it is airborne, that means that some things are transferable in the air. That's just one example. Someone said hives. There's also one like a skin lesion. These are all things that happen when you touch surfaces or bodies, and it is important because when you know who you are, you know how you affect others. And so there's a group of individuals that have connectivity. They ascended high enough to know that they are different. They hide it because they don't want to be shunned or they don't want to be looked at as they're teeing certain people, and indeed they are. Again, the reason why it's important is there's individuals that come to my channel specifically to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, so they could offer me a place to live. Now, the offer is only coming because they want to sleep with me. Some want to do it because they want favors, and some want to do it because they want healing. They believe that if they lay down with an angel, that all of their diseases will go to an angel. So for those that have heard that, this is confirmation. This is confirmation. Because I'm getting messages. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Does anyone have any questions for me? Isikino. Someone wants to know, why are there angels and there is no healing? That's a backwards statement. There is healing. When I left off at the previous live, I was talking about healing through ascension. And what that talks about is you going through a phase of ascension where your body is being cleansed. Now, some of you are aware that it is possible to be healed from certain ailments. However, you don't know how it is. I'm not going to talk about his situation, but some believe that it is through science that this is happening. However, the God will beg to differ, and he will say it's because he sent them through a certain phase of ascension where their body is cleaned of all of that ailments. And again, when I said earlier that there would be certain lives that should be shared with teenage females specifically, I mean that. The reason for it is because you have to understand that even as a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, because some of you have children that are active in that manner, when they lay down, they can intercept entities, especially if they're sleeping with somebody older. Now, this is something that you're not going to be able to tell physically for a lot of you, especially if they hide it. A lot of times with female, what'll happen is their attitudes will change when they start becoming active. And so what you'll start to notice is that they'll start doing things that are illegal, smoking, drinking, and things of that sort. Running away from home, talking back, not wanting to participate, isolating in their room, things of that sort. Usually it is after, because somebody said it's when they start their period, their menstruation, and it is truth to that, because before that there is no need. However, they will be approached by males. They will be approached by males, especially if they look older than what they are. And the reason why I say that is because it's being put on my mind to talk about it, because some of you all have preteens, and these preteens are encountering older males that are attempting to solicit them. This is something that happens when they go to school, if they're walkers, if they catch the bus. And so for those of you that feel like it could be your preteen, not teen, preteen, 12 is preteen, 11, 10. Because if you look at your child, especially a female, you will see that they look older. They look older than the regular children of their age group. Some of these males, not men. Men don't do things like that. We're talking about males. Some of these males do know that they are adolescents, and that is the reason for it. There are males that will target these preteens solely for the purpose of messing up their life. If you can get someone at 11 and 12, you know how detrimental that could be to them if they were to encounter someone with HIV. I don't know if you all have seen those. I don't know if you all have seen those these videos here, where they go into these hotels and they get these teas, you know, the human teas. They get these males, and you see them, and they're like 30 and 40 years old, and the ones that they are with are teenagers. Those are the ones that they want, because they want to be with them for a long time in order to get money. They'll end up having children, and usually they'll leave them. It is very important, because this is the type of energy that watches my channel. Does anyone have any questions? If you can like the video as you come in and share it. Somebody wants to know, is it still the same? It is pretty much the same, but because that live hasn't had a chance to circulate, it's still in the process of uploading, I believe, but I could be wrong. You know, it's no telling how many views that is going to get. Now, my lives are just as important as my readings. This is the time for you to come in and ask questions, like normal questions. If you would like to, I'm not sure if this is clippable to where you could clip certain things, but I'll try to leave it to where if someone wants to do like a response to it, you can. When I talked about the male under the tree, he got up and he walked away. He was the type that you would want to stay away from. They have their own group. You know what I mean? You can tell there's levels. Like, some people are functioning addicts, and some people are just completely gone. And then when you put mental illness into it, when you factor into that, it makes it worse. The reason why you would want to stay away from, not me, because he said he laid under a tree. He laid under a tree, and not this one. Now, there's some that I would definitely want to stay away from. It's the energy coming from them. Somebody's asking about Dalaman. With me, when I'm around demon energy that has the potential of being demonic, the archangels will start talking to them. And this is the reason why my members have that type of protection. It is because it is needed for them. We're not going to talk about the person that is waiting for a reading. This is the reason why she does not want to comment. I know for a fact that it is two of you in here that is ready to start yelling her name because you believe that there are D's watching, or there's going to be D's watching, and you believe that you could be heard through my live, which is BS. Why don't you start a live? Because these are content creators on this platform. These are the ones prior that were doing chanting. And many of you all know that I'm not the only reader that picked up a group of individuals chanting and bathing in the moon, in the forest, and things of that sort. The reason why I know about Humboldt County is I used to drive up there when I drove a school bus. They have something called Reggae by the River, and we would bus people from county to county to that event. So that's what it's the Redwood Forest. You're right. I have drove a school bus, a 50-footer, up through those mountains, so I'm aware of that area, and I know what takes place there. So for those that are lost or in the future, it is because someone has a telepathic connection to an Akasi, which is a Daman angel. They believe that they're talking to me, but they're not. This stuff is being intercepted by angels. They're having full-fledged conversations. With me, I don't pick it up. They believe that I'm picking it up telepathically, and it's like there's a middleman. Some may feel like saying that you're an angel is far-fetched, but this is the same crew that said they were descendants of Jesus. So if you could be a descendant of Jesus, why can't I be a cherub? It doesn't make sense to watch tarot readers that say that you are descendants of Jesus and say that I am not a cherub. I know for a fact that reading got real genuine views because it was the first of its kind. I seen it come up on my timeline. I didn't watch it. At that time, when I encountered that reading, I was someone that was adamant about not talking about Jesus because I had went through the conscious gate where I did the research and the timelines weren't matching. So that's the reason why I didn't want to talk about Jesus, because to me, it was a lie. Now that I'm further along in my evolution, I know that it is a mixture of three different stories. You all know that in the conscious community, there is a divide, okay? Was Jesus real? Is Jesus considered Yeshua? There's a divide. Now that I'm here in this place, they're saying Jesus is indeed real, but he is not the Son of God like you all believe. What they want is controversy for those of you that are paying attention and you do not have a telepathic communication. You don't have telepathy. It is telepathy, but this is how they say it. If you don't have it, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to sense it, because that's what I'm getting. I'm sensing it. I'm not hearing it. Those that have psychic gifts, they know that this is possible. If you put into that search engine telepathic or telepathy, then you will see that you're talking about clear audience. That's where you can hear voices exactly. They want to know the difference between schizophrenia and telepathic communication. There is none. They didn't. But what it is they wanna match wits with me. There's no difference between schizophrenia and telepathic communication. It's whom is talking to you. Now you understand. There's a group, right, that people consider schizophrenic. that have voices talking to them. What type of voices? If the demonic presence were to talk to you, you would not be able to function. Demonic presence is not like you think. They don't want a friendship with you. They want to torment you. Now I'm going to say, does anyone have any questions? Because all of this information is being given to all of you in this live because someone has telepathy. And this is what they do. This is how they want to communicate with me. Now he understands that it's not that easy. He's not going to be able to sit back in his bed and do massages on himself and call my name and ask me questions, because this is the type of sick stuff that they do with that gift. So now I see that no one has any questions. The reason why he does not want to comment is because he wants people to believe that he is on the up and up. So when he starts doing telepathic communication content, you all are going to know that it is him. These are so-called ex-tarot readers that are reformed because tarot is so evil. You know, there was a statement where they talked about the GUNs not being the problem. It's the people that are wielding them is the problem. And I agree. I don't know if all of you agree. Because if you were to pick up a GUN and confront someone breaking into your property, or then the GUN wouldn't be a problem then. It would be the person. So the same scenario for tarot. It's not the tarot cards, the piece of paper that people are displaying. It's the energy that is presenting that tarot card and what they have connection to. There's a lot of people that are upset because of the truth coming out about Archangel Michael. And not to call them, especially not to call him, especially if you are saying that you are a witch, because his energy is not one that is protecting witches. If you would like to know who protects witches, then you put it in the chat and I will give you the answer. Otherwise, you're not getting an answer. Because someone wants to know. What they do is they talk out loud. These groups here, they talk out loud confirmation. They don't have telepathic communication. With a certain group that went through a paradigm shift, what they did was they bound themselves through Mancy, and y'all know what that is. They said, we want to have this type of communication. We want to have it. We want to be able to talk to people in their minds and persuade them to do things that are ungodly. And this is one of these. Hold on. Because I don't want a copyright with the music. So this is one of these group, one of them that felt like they could live the rest of their life like this. Hold on. And because they felt like they could live the rest of their life by saying now silent, and that would cut off all the communication. And angels can't even do that. Angels, we can't say now silent and everything stops. They were made to believe that when they said it, everything would stop. These are the ones that have jobs. This one keeps saying, I'm going to donate, I'm going to donate, I'm going to donate. And then he goes and buys things that he doesn't need, which is fine. However, when he gets placed in Alpha C, he's going to say it's because of ether. They can't say that I'm a spellcaster anymore because it's been proven that I'm not. There is several individuals that wanted to know who the witches were that were casting spells. What they wanted to know was who put the hex on our universe parents so they could encounter them. And when I informed them that if they were to ever meet these hedge witches, because that's what they are, none of you, and including I, will ever encounter a hedge witch because those are the originals. Now, there be people that say that they are, and there are going to be people that say that they are descendants of them. That one that has a black angel chair is not an angel, and she's aware of that. So now that you all understand that you're not going to encounter any hedge witches because they are no more, you can stop saying that you're a hedge because you're not. What you all need to do is start a community where you all share ideas and stay away from my members, because I've already stated that my members are protected with angelic presence. I'm fully protected. What you want to say is, why am I homeless and I am displaced because I'm supposed to be here? What you need to worry about is your displacement coming up really soon. Because all of you that sit here, confirmation, all of you that sit here and you cast stones at others, you are hiding the fact that you're going through an eviction. So when you get displaced, you try to figure out what you're going to do to save face. He put that in the chat because someone is saying, I am here, I am here. Um, what I know to be true in regards to my situation is because I'm transparent. When I say that I am from the hood, this is not something that is new to me. My experience going through this is totally different from someone else that has not ever been in the hood or from the hood, or don't know how to. They don't know how to live without saying that they are rich, or that they are entitled and things of that. I'm not someone that believes I'm entitled to things, so it's easy for me to be human. For these ones, they believe because they have reached six figures. Also, they're not going to say that they reached six figures because they are too afraid of who potentially could be hearing them, and they should be, because these are the ones that did Mansi. They did Mansi to be able to stay connected to other beings, to persuade them. It's important for you all to understand. I believe that there is a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. It's seven different variables to getting out of this energy. You will always evolve. When you talk about Buddhist monks and things of that sort, their energy is one that is very high. That means that they do not seek love from another person because they have it within, and then it shows by the way they look and by what they consume. There was one individual that documented an Agar, okay? And this Agar was black, okay? He may have been another type of heritage, but he was black, and he is one that said that you shouldn't drink water. Now, when you run into Agars, they will say things that will have you perplexed, because for him, water was not good. And so this is why everything is not for everyone. It may be several people that see this later on that will say, I remember that, okay? What they want to talk about is levitation. Levitation with your legs crossed is not something that I experienced. I experienced levitation laying down. It's sort of like, is that falling? You know how they have the light body being ascending up in the sky on on their back and their legs falling in arms. That's how I did. That's how I levitated, but my legs weren't dangling. That is a part of ascension. The Yashi, Yorubian, those that follow Ifa know that it is possible for individuals to levitate. Many celebrities have talked about that. What you want to talk about is hypnosis. When I said years ago, probably 5 years ago, just about 4 or 5 years ago, that it was certain individuals that were watching tarot readers trying to hypnotize them. Everybody thought that it was far-fetched. Now that I have ads running on my content, you all understand that this is a thing. And that man makes buku money hypnotizing people. So anyone that says my membership is too expensive and then you go and you pay $5,000 to get hypnotized, then you're gonna be looking like one of them H'ers. I don't know why he put who does in the chat. This is not a confrontational live. You need to go to Takati Tech and do that. The interesting thing about it is because I continue to keep answering questions that they are intercepting telepathically, no one wants to put any question in the chat. It's as if they want people to feel like I'm talking to myself or no one is in here. And I know for a fact that there's people in here, there's people leaving, there's people getting kicked out, and then they come back. And so I see the analytics at the end. Y'all don't see it, but I do because this is my channel. Analytics are very important. You can call them stats if you want to, but analytics are very important because it lets me know how many people are coming in and out. Lives are different from uploaded content. I would imagine that it's hard to take any view from a live, and this is possibly why a lot of people do it. Now, when you talk about buying views, this is something that happens before sometimes before you do a live, but you'll see it. You'll see the effects of buying views on lives after. If somebody bought views, what it'll look like is they'll have 1,500 normal views, okay? And then 3 hours later, it'll be 38,000. To me, that's far-fetched. Nobody's talking about if the news is not getting those type of views. What would make you think that a regular person, even a celebrity, would get those type of views? No. I do believe that they did do the news. The news is actively something that they take from all the time because they can. And this is the reason why the protocol has changed throughout the years so much. Everybody attributed it to the algorithm, but it's more than just the algorithm. There's a lot of people that came from Takati Tech. Okay, they came from Takati Tech to start here. And there was a lot of people that left here and went to Takati Tech because of the interface, the way it's set up. They like it better. I feel like the interface for Takati Tech is similar to IG, and that is the reason why it is appealing for younger people. Oh, thank you, Jack. Okay, mister. All right. So now that we know that there are masculine energy present here, this is a group that is new. If anyone has any questions, I'll answer it before I get off. If you could put the question in the chat, I'd appreciate it and refrain from trying to speak with me telepathically. I'm indeed normalizing telepathic communication because it needs to be. Um, Somebody wants to talk about schizophrenia. When I talked about the mass that you could see through an x-ray, that was a sign that someone had a demonic energy on them. That is indeed true in my eyes. Now, whether or not if science has caught up with it is to be seen in the future. Something like schizophrenia, and when you look at someone that is talking to someone in their mind or talking to someone that they feel is right there, who are you to say that that person is not really talking to someone? What I know to be true is that science has been proven wrong. After you go through years and years of research, a lot of times they get debunked. No one wants to say that God cured them from HIV or AIDS or cancer publicly. Usually they don't. What they'll do is they'll say something like science, thank God for science or something like that, which could be true because it prolongs your life, but we know that it is just a treatment. Usually when they do this research, it's treatments that you get. You don't get a cure. So the ultimate healer is the God, and the God will use an angel or any other type of being, a regular human, to cure you. God willing, if that's what he wants. It's about your ascension level. Even me, I sit back and I'll try to converse with the God, and I won't get a response. The one that is closest in history that you all consider the right hand man and to God, and even me at some point, is Melchizedek. If I were to say Melchizedek, can you tell the guy to talk to me? Melchizedek would probably laugh. Um, Moses is the one that went through something similar as what I'm going through, and Melchizedek did as well, with being displaced. They God has allowed me to answer that question, and that question is, there is a whole host of underworld angels and light angels, which you all call them, that are very upset with the God. And it is because, hold on. The reason why um, they are upset is because they feel like there should have been a man angel in this position, not a woman. Um, what I did hear about the conversation that they were having was that this is not for cherubs. They believe all the harsh stuff is for the men angels. And this is why I say that in the future, you all are going to start naming these masculine energies correctly. You're going to know the difference between what the God considers a man and what the God considers a male. There's a difference for a reason. It's not just genitals. All right, so for all of you again that would like to donate, the Cash App is PEKA69. Again, that is PEKA69. Since I'm being called away,